Yo, what up you guys, MxgicIQ here, and today they have released the Volume 2 patch notes. I believe it's as of yesterday or one day after they released the trailer. So let's go ahead and dive into these, man. This update does launch very soon here, so let's see what's in the patch notes, if the meta has changed at all, and what exactly we have to look forward to besides the obvious new content additions in Season 2/Volume 2. We're going to see what quality of life changes are really worth it. We're going to dive into what's really worth looking at. I'm not going to waste your guys' time by talking about every single little point. We know what we want fixed and we know what will make the game better, so let's just keep it simple and look at exactly what is going to affect multiplayer and our driving experience. So let's go ahead and take a look right now. So here we go. We got the Volume 2 patch notes here. Need for Speed Unbound. Read all the fixes and changes coming alongside Volume 2. Yada, yada, yada. Alright, I believe this is all single player stuff. So if you guys care about single player stuff, I guess they fix, traffic spawning in unexpected places. Hopefully that affects multiplayer. That would be great because I feel like that still happens there as well. Fix an issue that crashed AI rivals icons to flicker. I mean, I don't have any of these issues. Hopefully this fixes, what would happen if, they added police to or cops to multiplayer. Hopefully these won't be an issue. But yeah, this is for you single player guys. If you guys care about this, you can take a pause, read that. I'm not going to waste your time by going over things that I don't personally feel affected by, or my, community. I believe most of us play multiplayer. If you play single player though, this is a good read. Balance and meta tweaks. So limited the ability to downgrade cars to one tier below stock. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I believe this does actually change a lot, but let's go ahead and open up Need for Speed Unbound right now and see what actually is affected by this in terms of meta cars. And I'm just going to go over top 3 for each category and how it's going to change. Alrighty guys, so now we're opened up in Need for Speed Unbound. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to go through all of the quote-unquote meta cars and see which ones are really affected. One of those cars that off the rip isn't going to be affected is the R34. Still going to be useful in any category that it was good in. XC just still decent. What we're going to really check for, Testarossa is still going to be a beast in A class. Doesn't really change the meta there, honestly. The RSR is going to be a beast in A+, A class, and B class still. So still pretty broken there. Even though they're fixing the Pista, this is still going to be pretty broken there. So that's not really fixing that car. This thing's still going to be a beast in A+. Let's go ahead and check out what I'm really curious about, which is the F40. If the F40 is A+, okay. So that means that the F40 will no longer be meta in A class, because of the fact that you can no longer use it in A class, but you will be able to use it still in A+ and S class. So at least as of right now, this is still meta in A+ and S class. In my opinion, the Skyline GTR is still going to be meta in A+ and S class. The only thing this really shakes up is B class, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything else that's really going to be shaken by this too hard. The RSR is pretty close to the F40 as is already, and that's still going to be a main competitor in A class since it's its rightful tier it actually comes with anyway. So it's actually pretty interesting there. One meta is going to change. I believe the A class meta will change. The top 3 will probably be Testarossa, RSR, and R34 now, instead of what it was, which is F40, RSR, Testarossa. So you just move a couple cars up, you're gonna have more top speed cars be more viable, and that's pretty much it. The corner beast is gonna be the RSR, so it's actually gonna be more one-sided now. There's not gonna be RSR versus F40. If you ask me, it's going to make the meta a little bit more lopsided towards the RSR. Now, when it comes to B class will still probably be run by the RSR, just because, I mean, the Testarossa is pretty good down there too, and that's also an A class car, so those two aren't going to really change too much. The R34 is still going to be a B class car. I'm curious to see if they changed anything with the gearboxes, and maybe that's why the new thing is not going one tier below. Or maybe they just locked certain cars out of going down too many tiers, which if that's the case, then honestly, you're still going to be able to finesse your way into there with some cars that shouldn't really be down there in general with too much power. I don't think it's going to fix the cheese problem. I think it's just going to fix the Pista, and that's it. And the F40 won't be an A class anymore. But the meta for A+, S class will not change. as long as they haven't changed anything with the gearboxes. If they've only simply made it so that cars can't go one down below their category, you can see here by rating, if you just go one rating down from the car stock rating, as the patch notes do read, right here you guys can see, limited the ability to downgrade cars to one tier below stock. Not much is really going to change here, so I'm sorry if you were looking for a crazy change. It just doesn't look like that. The Pista's nerfed, but there's still cheese cars that are just as fast as the Pista that aren't the Pista, so not much has changed there, unless they've done something with the gearbox, which we'll know on day one, and you guys know I'll have that information for you here. But let's get straight back to these patch notes. Alrighty, as you guys can see here, it says they've resolved an exploit where players could access extra gears using third-party hardware. That's great. The only place I think that was viable even was in B class, just because, I mean, using a steering wheel on this game, I don't think it's even that easy, to be honest. But yeah, it's a little bit obnoxious. I don't know. I mean, I never did it. I do have a Logitech setup. I was going to try it one time just to see how it really works and if you could use like controller while accessing the extra gears, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's just, you know, if you have to go through that many steps to cheat, then you probably just shouldn't be playing the game. Fixed an issue where ASAP Rocky's custom vehicle was only allowed 3 engine swaps. I know those 3 out of those 3 engine swaps, though, one of the engine swaps was way better than the stock 190E, so I think you guys need to fix the fact that certain custom cars have different engine swaps than the regular cars, and then the clutches are different, so you can throw a basic clutch into the custom cars, which allows you to get more power out of it, making it overall faster in certain tiers. So I think that's something that needs to be taken a look at too. Fixed an issue where the track reset could give an unfair advantage on rapid transit. Yes and no. This would give you quote unquote an unfair advantage if you were racing against normal people, but if everybody was on the perfect run and you got this unfair advantage, you would still lose. So that's great though, but I mean, doesn't really do much. They nerfed the Aston Martin Vulcan as if it was OP or something like that. It's okay. I don't think it was worthy of a nerf. I think that just makes it useless now. I mean, now it's only going to be good, and I don't even know. I don't know what it'd be good for at this point, honestly. Now, added the ability to pin a challenge direct. Okay, these are challenge directed. This helps for, I don't know, being able to see your challenges. It's nice. If you guys want to take a look at this for challenge criteria, I don't really, you know, I just do whatever. Although with the new daily challenges that are coming, hopefully that'll be nice. The 40 dailies, it's going to be nice to knock out new daily challenges like that. Fixed a number of HUD, okay, client and performance. I'm actually curious about this. Fixed a number of HUD resolutions on PC related launching the game into window mode and resizing the window. I'm not on PC, but that's great. Seems like there's a few PC fixes here from what I'm reading already. Fixed an issue that caused certain menus and HUD elements to display incorrectly in wide aspect ratios. Yeah, that sounds like a PC thing only. PC zero latency. So if you're on PC, go ahead and give this a read. I don't know how the performance was on free PC, guys. I know there's a couple other content creators that are on PC, so maybe they can give deeper insight into that for this game. But I am personally playing this game on console, and the game feels decent already. So there's a couple weird frame issues every now and then, but yeah. Okay, so for the customization, it seems like there's a lot of fixes here. I don't really know because I don't do crazy customization like in terms of liveries and stuff like that. So if you guys are into that, this is definitely a nice thing to give a read to, but I'll just go over it real quick. Added the ability to select a driving tag on a per vehicle basis. This is actually very nice. So if a car is orange and you want orange tags, and it'll look cooler like that, and you don't have to keep switching it every time you switch your car. I wonder if they fixed the auxiliaries though. I didn't read anything about that yet. Improve the performance customization flow to show whether performance parts will move the car below a tier. Thank you, God. I think that means... Okay, wait. I don't know what this means. I think improve the performance customization flow to show whether performance parts will move the car below a tier. Okay. I think it wasn't already like that. Maybe I'm confused on the wording there. If somebody wants to clarify that for me. Fix an issue where the player can't equip any. Okay, I heard a lot of people were having character customization issues. I personally didn't, but that's nice to know. Fixed a number of character poses. For example, the pose I use, I think, is a texting one, and the phone will end up halfway across the screen. So that's cool. I mean, that'd be nice to have working character poses. Fixed a number of decal thumbnails that were displaying incorrectly. Fixed a number of issues owned items were unable to be equipped. Okay, I hope this fixes the motors going missing, because, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where my motors go that I've bought in multiple times. I've spent millions of dollars on motors and they're all gone. Fix an issue that caused a new label to appear on the auxiliary items even after revealing them all. Okay. Fix an issue that caused the player to not be informed on how to unlock Palace Edition. The fact you even have to unlock Palace Edition cards after buying the Palace Edition is kind of weird. Fixed an issue that occasionally caused visual issues that equipped sunglasses. Okay. Okay. Customization parts incorrectly labeled on these 2 cars. And then we have decals applied, fixed to all these cars right here. If you guys want to go ahead and slow that down and read that for the decals, you can go ahead and do that. Fix an issue where decals weren't removed when previewing or equipping new body kits. I noticed that, but I didn't think it mattered that much. Fix an issue where driving effects would display incorrectly on turbofan rims. Didn't even notice that. I mean, I run cloaked, so that's probably why. District names to maps. Okay. Locked but purchasable safe houses can now be seen on the map. Is there purchasable safe houses in multiplayer? I think this is a single player thing. I don't know for sure. That'd be kind of cool, but I think it's a single player thing. I think a decent amount of this is going to be single player stuff. I didn't really notice any issues with the map, so if you guys want to pause and read that, you guys can. I haven't really. Okay, here we go. This is what we want to read right here. All right, here we go. Added the ability for players to see what other players are up to whilst on the map, meetups, and the on-server list of the party menu. Nice, more social aspects. Great. Fixed an issue that caused traffic cars to have delayed responses to collisions in multiplayer. Thank you, God. Yes. Okay, it's decent. We'll see if that actually works. Improve the way player position is handled in multiplayer lobbies, smoothing out gameplay and playlists. I hope this has a lot to do with desync. That'd be great. Fix the number of issues preventing players from sending multiplayer invites. I've experienced this a couple times, but it wasn't that crazy. So that's nice. That was a good change. Obviously, more fixes the better. I'm going to go ahead and read through this and just tap on some key points that I think really, really matter. If you guys want to go ahead and pause and read at any time, you're welcome to. Okay, general improvements to party information and visibility could be anything. General improvements to multiplayer playlist invite flow. Okay, general server stability improvements resolve some issues where players were disconnected from multiplayer session after matchmaking. Never noticed that. Tweak the amount of time players had to hold the map button down, access the party menu, playlist, and racing. So far in the multiplayer things for the UI, I didn't really necessarily notice anything about them saying they moved the challenge over to the left, so hopefully they mention that coming up here soon. Playlist and racing added the ability to swap cars out on each race in a playlist so the players can choose better suited cars for each event type. That's huge. Okay. All right. That's actually huge because that means now you're going to. Okay. All right. That might actually not be good. Okay. The reason I say that is because now you're going to be able to use one of those super cheesy, like low. Okay. So for like blue collar, for example, you can use like one of those cars that has like 1200 horsepower, 1400 horsepower, but has, a 156 top speed for S class, and that will just annihilate on blue collar. So that might be cool and bad at the same time. I don't know. It's nice. It's cool. I mean, the meta is going to switch up, but now you're going to have track specific cars, which is cool. But yeah, that's actually a big change right there. It's kind of cool. We'll see how it is. Added visual feedback to in-playlist UI to indicate whether the player was using a rental car. Okay. Increased based payouts for all multiplayer playlists and added greater payouts scaling with higher player counts. This is very nice for the streams when we get back into that. If this update is nice, that'll be really cool because we'll all make a lot of money now. Fix a number of graphical camera and vehicle issues in playlist intro and outro flow. Okay. I have noticed a lot. Like, I think that's specifically talking about like when you leave a playlist and your car is full health, but for some reason it's completely damaged out looking. I think that's what that's fixing, hopefully. Okay, fix a number of issues where the player may sometimes get reset incorrectly. I did notice this a few times, so that's a nice change. Fixed a number of issues with car selection and multiplayer playlist after accepting invite from the garage. Okay, never noticed that. This has resolved an issue where wrecked vehicles were returning at full speed. I mean, I think they should, honestly. They're already losing 3 seconds. I think they should return at full speed because, honestly, once you wreck one time in this game, it's pretty much a GG's. So, I just read all this, and I don't really think it changes much. If you guys want to pause and read some of these, at least for multiplayer, I didn't notice anything that really was a big hit to me when I was playing in my experience. So, you guys can go ahead and read that. I just didn't want to waste your time going over things that I personally didn't feel affected by. But resolved an issue where wrecked vehicles were returning at full speed. Honestly, should be a thing. I think they should return at full speed. Honestly, that's just me personally, though. Alright guys, I just read through the user interface tweaks. A lot of good changes coming here, so make sure you guys pause and read that. Nothing crazy that I noticed that really affected my gameplay, but overall just fixing the UI, making it smoother and making it more tolerable. I don't think it was bad as it is. The only problem I had was the challenges over the stats thing. So I mean, there's a lot of good changes here, so let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle changes. Now here there's a lot of clipping things, like if there was issues with clipping or the stance of certain vehicles and the colors and tints of certain vehicles. So if you see the name of a car here you deliberately use often, then go ahead and take a look at what has changed on that and see if it improves the look of your car afterwards, or if you had any issues with the stance on certain cars. It seems like they fixed a lot of it. I wonder if they fixed the airbags, because for certain cars it seems like it just simply doesn't do anything, so that'd be nice to see at the end. The world here, fixed collision issues is great. I need to see a lot of collision issues fixing. That's nice. Lighting issues, I didn't notice it too much, but it's nice to see better lighting at any game at all times. So these are some good changes here. Resolved an issue where the camera can be pushed through the environment on a number of vehicles. I did see that, or in camera mode, where you push it through the environment and then you get stuck kind of in the map, which is kind of weird, but hopefully that fixes that. General fixes and improvements. To reset the camera in snapshot mode is great. Added idle camera to the garage. That's actually kind of cool. So maybe you get a camera in the garage now. That's pretty sick. Added the ability to skip music tracks in races. I personally don't listen to the in-game music, but I know a lot of people that do, so that's pretty useful. I'm just hoping this game feels a lot smoother and is a lot, easier to play after this update. It seems like they've done a lot of fixes to the UI. Quality of life is insane, so I'm not gonna lie, I have to pat them on the back for that. This is pretty good. I mean, there's a lot here. We're gonna check, for those main issues again to make sure they're not in the game when it actually comes out. Because as you guys know, even though a lot of updates can fix a lot of things, a lot of the times, they can actually hurt the game sometimes too, in other ways that you don't see until the update comes out. I've seen a lot of games, specifically Division 2, another game I play, where they'll release an update, they'll fix 3 things and break 5. So you never know what can really happen until an update is implemented and you play it. So I'm looking forward to this update, man. Make sure you guys stick around to catch more content. We got a little bit of a meta change up, possibly. We'll see what they do if they change up the gearboxes or something like that. But at least from reading the patch notes and checking in game, as you guys saw earlier, not much in terms of meta is really gonna change. But I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been MxgicIQ, but selecting different cars for different races, actually, I take that back, might be crazy. Because, for example, if you wanted to run a playlist like Serial Thriller, you could use, an F40 for blue collar, or even an Aventador, which has a 156 top speed and 1200 horsepower, and is more consistent with the all-wheel drive, and it's just easier to use. Then, after that, for Getting High Tonight, you can switch to something that has more top speed, like the F40, for example, is a great car on Getting High Tonight. Or you can use the GTR for rapid transit for that third race, you know what I mean? So that's kind of crazy. I think that'll make the meta, honestly, it'll just be really obvious, and everybody hates those meta users now, but I think it might make that problem even worse. But it'll also make the game feel a little bit more unique, because you have to use a different car for each race, and there might be new cars that emerge that excel on certain races even more so than other cars that maybe only work on that one race. You don't know until you test it, and that's what we're here to do, man. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys in Volume 2. It's MxgicIQ, and I'm out. Peace.